Nearly a month of practices, joint practices, and preseason games has come to a close as we wind down New Orleans Saints training camp. This is Erin Summers. I'm Todd Graffagnini. It is the New Orleans Saints training camp report right here on Your View. It's hard to believe, Erin, we've been coming out here for basically a month, and it all pretty much ended on this Wednesday inside at the Ochsner Sports Performance Center as we get set for preseason game number 3 on Friday night against the LA Chargers.
There were a lot of familiar faces back on the practice field today, faces we haven't seen for a little while. Offensive linemen James Hurst, Landon Young were back. We saw Cesar Ruiz on the line. Alante Taylor, PJ Williams were doing some work off to the side. It was good to see a lot of them back in action. Marshawn Lattimore was out here, as well as some players that we haven't seen in the running game. Dwayne Washington, Tony Jones Jr., who left yesterday a little bit early from practice, was a full go today. So it's good to see the majority of the squad back on the field. Here's head coach Dennis Allen on his overall thoughts of their last indoor practice.
Look, another good day of practice, I thought. A lot of good situational work we got there. A little bit in the first half, 2 minute, which was good to see. And we'll start turning our focus over to the Chargers starting this afternoon.
Well, Erin, a much different vibe here inside the final training camp practices. It was basically Club Ochsner Sports Performance Center. The music was blaring. Guys were bouncing up and down, specifically Cam Jordan. But as we found out after practice, there was a method to the madness.
Never surprised when you're seeing Cam Jordan jump around dancing, because he always has a little bit more energy than everybody else, but you saw it across the board. Even some of the media members, I'm not going to name names, were getting into the music, but as you mentioned, there was a reason for it. Here's head coach Dennis Allen.
Working on some of our silent cadence stuff. It's beneficial to both sides. Obviously when we're in the dome, it's beneficial for our defense, in terms of the communication in those situations. And then obviously when we go on the road, our offense has to operate in a noisy environment. So, and look, I thought it was, for the first time in a silent cadence, I thought it was pretty clean.
I think it's great that we get the chance to practice that and get in that environment right now before the season starts, because we plan on being in a lot of high environment games.
The music was flowing. It was definitely a Vegas vibe today. So if you're in Vegas, you either have to buy in or you're not going to have fun. So I'm going to have fun regardless. And I clearly had to buy all the way in. You got to fist pump when it's time to fist pump. The footwork has to be hot. You can lose your rhythm in it. So, I think that's why it's good for everybody.
Well, Erin, it seems like it's been a broken record throughout training camp, but the defense shined again today. Again, no slight to what the offense is doing. There's just that much talent on the defensive side of the ball. But we find out in the last practice, those situations, again, were dominated by the D.
We've seen it all camp, and Cam Jordan said it. It doesn't matter how high octane of an offense we have. We want this defense to be what makes and breaks this team. They want to be the best defense in the league this year. They have had no qualms about saying that every time that we talk to a different member of the defense, and today it showed. They had 14 reps in the red zone today, and the offense only scored 1 touchdown. It was the very last rep of that work, and then later in the 2-minute drill at the end of practice, they had to settle for 2 field goals, and they were long ones. Will Lutz was kicking from basically 50 every time, so it wasn't like they were making much progress there either, but it was because of the defense. And here's Taco Charlton on their work today.
Yeah, we got a lot of talent in this defense from the front end, the back end, everywhere we go. It's talent, which is always great to be around. The best thing I say is the best friend of a pass rusher is good coverage. So we got great coverage guys, great pass rushers to get to the passer, and like I said, it just pushes us all to get better. Me as a new guy, like I said, I just come and try to provide anything I can to help this team out in any facet, any way I can, and try to provide that extra boost, get some more wins and help us get wins on Sunday.
Of course, a big topic this week, Erin, is will Jameis play in the final preseason game? And people out there need to realize, yes, he's coming off an ACL injury, but that, as he says, is 100%. What the issue is right now is him having to overcompensate for possibly that sprained foot, which he injured a couple of weeks ago. And here's Jameis explaining that.
I trust my knee wholeheartedly. I don't want to put any pressure on my knee or other body parts for overcompensating with my foot. So rest is a big part of recovery and healing, so I can be fully ready. And I'm not going, when I'm on the field, I'm not thinking about anything besides executing and leading the Saints to a victory. Injury is not even in my mind.
Good stuff there, Erin, and that is going to wrap it up for this show. When we come back tomorrow, we will preview the final preseason game coming up Friday night in the Caesars Superdome, 7 p.m. versus the LA Chargers. For Erin Summers, I'm Todd Graffagnini. We'll see you tomorrow for another edition of the New Orleans Saints Training Camp Report